Okay, so I am so excited to do this. Y'all know I am a total Beauty Blender junkie, fanatic. I remember reviewing the Beauty Blender maybe like 10 years ago here. Crazy, it's hard to believe that it has been that long, but I have been such a fan of this little product for so many years, and you guys know that I just rave about it constantly. And anything new that they come out with, I'm so down for and excited about, and obviously have to try. I talk about this all the time on here with doing what I do, trying all these new things, getting things all the time, like new products. There are things that just don't really excite me that much because I've seen so many things, I've seen so many different things that aren't that special, or just products or brands that are just constantly rolling out things that don't knock my socks off. But this was one of those things that I knew when this comes out, I am getting my hands on them. I have 4 of the shades, okay? When I purchased these, I was trying to figure out my shade. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about all of that. I'm gonna talk to you guys about the product itself. I'm gonna break down the packaging, how it works, all the basics, I guess, at the beginning. And then I'm gonna demo the product for you guys and show you, what it does. I'm also going to, after that, give you guys my whole full list of pros and cons, and kind of just my whole review after wearing it for a while, and what, how it's worn in different situations, traveling, different, times of the day. I don't know. I'm gonna tell you guys everything that I feel about this, whether I think it's worth it, whether you should try it. But let me kind of give you an overview. So Beauty Blender came out with a foundation called Bounce, and it comes in a little black box like this. The different shades are called blends, so it might be like blend 1.2, blend 1.3, 1.4. When you look like online to buy it, like, how the colors are broken down, it'll say like, fair with cool undertones, fair with yellow, fair with neutral, and every single shade has different undertones, cool, neutral, warm, which can make choosing your color a little tricky. As I experienced, usually I'm just like, oh, I'm pretty fair. Let me just go for one of the first fair colors that says neutral, or one of the first fair colors that isn't too pink. So I purchased 4 of them. I went for the one, let's see, let me put them in order. What I found was pretty surprising, okay? So we're gonna go through all this. I'll show you how the packaging works and everything in a minute too, because it's a little odd, how it comes out. But I really wanna focus on shades for just a moment, because I think that if you're gonna watch this, and you might be curious as well, and you're gonna run and buy it, this is something that you need to know. So 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, these are the shades that I bought. And I really expected to be somewhere in the middle, but I really just wanted to get it right, you know what I mean? So what I did is, when I got them, I squirted out, a little bit of the product, which I'll show you how it works and stuff in a second. Took it and I actually put it on my skin. I didn't put it on a Beauty Blender and do my whole face with all 4 shades. I just wanted to get a good, a good idea of which shade I was. So I took the lightest one and went like that. This is usually a good way to tell what you are, right? So I did that way too light, right? 1.2, blended in pretty good. 1.3, a little off, a little yellow. 1.4, very dark, right? So I'm like, For reference, right now I'm wearing 1.4. We'll get to it. Here's the thing. So I blended it in on my finger, Now, when I went to use what I thought was my shade, the 1.2, the next morning, I, squirted it out, bounced it, and then it was like a white mask. So you've got to think, this is a very full coverage foundation. If you've experienced that before, sometimes having difficulty finding your shade in a full coverage foundation, a lot of times you might need to go a tad darker than you think, but it's not a gross full coverage foundation, which we'll get to. I do not like very heavy full coverage foundations. We're gonna break it all down, but we're just talking shades. When you try this foundation, if you do like I did and you buy a bunch of shades at home, whatever, you might return them, however you're gonna do it, or you're in store, please use a dampened Beauty Blender and actually apply it in the way that you're going to apply it, not just like bloop, which is usually good. So what I found to be very surprising, the 1.4 was flawless and was like so perfect. So this looked so dark when I went like that, but when I used it with my Beauty Blender, it was perfect, and you guys will see that in a second. So I'm gonna read a little bit about it. It's a liquid whipped long wear foundation, so incredibly long wearing. We'll get to that at the end as well when I do like pros and cons and really get into it. Weightless, buildable, whipped liquid, can be layered from medium to maximum coverage to address tone and texture, never dull or greasy. Skin gets that pro artist velveteen finish, which is amazing to me because I love a good finish in a foundation. I don't wreck it with powders. I just want a foundation that works. This one sets. It's incredible. You guys will see when I try it on in a second. It looks picture perfect in real life and on screen. I will say, when I'm testing something new, I really just get up close. I'm in a big mirror. Like, it's amazing what this stuff looks like throughout the day, and I just didn't expect to like it as much as I did, but there are some cons as well, and we'll get into it. Okay, so full coverage, velveteen finish, moisture boosting hyaluronic acid, which I love because I don't want something to be like sucking the moisture out of my skin, but at the same time I want it to set, I want it to look good. So I love that it's got that. I look at it throughout the day and never do I see it looking like it's breaking up or looking dry. Antioxidant rich white birch extract. It's just got a lot of good stuff. It looks like this. It's in a glass container. It's 1 ounce and it's $40, which we'll talk about at the end as well. You take the little thing, you know, you put it to the on position, or a lot of times I just accidentally leave it on. You hold it at a 45-degree angle, so see, I did leave it on. It was already on. You hold it at a 45-degree angle. I don't want to waste it, but you know, I'll show you guys exactly how much I use when I actually do my, you know, my makeup and stuff, and we'll talk about the pros and cons of this packaging and how I feel about that too. But basically, it just kind of creates your own little palette to which, you know, to use your beauty blender before you even, you know, speculate on cleaning that up. We're gonna talk about it, we'll get into it, but I'm going to show you guys how I do everything. Before we get started, I do wanna share with you guys a couple of things. I wanna show y'all what I'm wearing quickly. This y'all have to check out, oh my gosh. So I'm just wearing this like white tank, which I will link to. This is incredible, I love it so much. Let me move this back. So it's just this little like, you know, like, what is it called? I don't know, like a long vest, very kind of flowy. It's got a tie, and what I did is I just tied it together in the back because I didn't want to like tie it together and look like a robe. I just kind of liked this look. So I took the ties and just kind of tied them under it. Super cute. I'll link to everything that I'm wearing, as well as this necklace, which I really love. It's a little nicer. I think it's something special that I got recently that I really do love. I realized in the rest of the video, I wasn't wearing my rings right before I filmed this part. I was like, ah! I cleaned them, so they're all like sparkly and pretty. And then I have this new little bracelet. I've got my love bracelets too. And I've talked about all that before. If you guys missed my Cartier like bracelet tip video, why can't I get this pushed back? Still need to get a good chair for in here. So I'm actually gonna demo it, and then I'll swing back and I'll give you guys some pros and cons and just kind of like my final thoughts. I'm gonna leave my jacket off while I do this. I don't wanna get any foundation on it. Not that a white shirt's gonna be any better, but okay. Yeah, so all I've done so far, I've prepped my skin with this, the Clinique Even Better, my moisturizer that I really love that has SPF in it, and I'll be honest with you, I just don't use a primer and I get great results. So that's just what I've been doing. I can't put a lot on my skin. It's not bad if you do use a primer. It's in the off position, you put it on, and then it's better not to do it like this. If you squirt it like that, it will go down into that little hole. So kind of hold it at a 45-degree angle, still goes down in there a little. Yeah, 3 pumps is pretty good, I guess. And then it's so nice because you can just kind of sit it down. You've probably seen that on social media a million times where people are like doing that. But here's the thing. The coverage is insane. Now, let me wipe off my lip gloss so I don't like smear it around. The smell of this is not overpowering. It's not like a weird like makeup-y makeup smell. It's just kind of, I don't know. It doesn't really have much of a smell at all. It's just kind of a pleasant, like, you know, just like typical foundation-y smell that's very light, if that makes sense. That 3 pumps is pretty good, unless if you need to like build it up or anything. I'll show you what that looks like after I'm done. But you can see it kind of covers everything. My main issue was redness, so it really works with concealing all that. I don't really have to even use like a separate concealer because I'll show you what I do. I can go back and use more. I can put it right up under my eye. You just do it same as I apply any other foundation. You don't have to apply it any differently. But what I love, again, is that I can put it on my eyes because it has moisturizing properties. It's not gonna like dry that area out, you know, but my other foundation that I mostly use, which is the Clinique Acne Solutions, it has salicylic acid in it. So I don't want that around my eyes, you know what I mean? Even if you just put it under here, you don't want that drying you out. So yeah, you can always do other things. I've never had an issue like using, you know, concealer or feeling like, oh, I really wish I could put it up under there. But I do like that this one does that. Now, something crazy and like worth noting at this point is that it's already set. There's absolutely like it's just very strange. There's no like even feeling of like makeup-y. I always feel set but you can still tell, you know what I mean? This is bizarre. It doesn't feel drying. Like it feels very comfortable. But like I'll take the little bit that's left over and like put it on the end and maybe like cover, you know, that, my little veins in my eyes. And something that I didn't mention as well, I did do this too under my eyes. So I had my 2 moisturizers on, which is this and this. So this is the Chanel Hydra Beauty Eye. Pros and cons, okay? The big pro, should I do cons first and then end on a positive note? Let me just do that, okay? So here's the thing. This is a very, I get why they did the packaging like this. I feel like in this world of like Instagram and like, you know, you want to do something different. I know this is a very like appealing, you know, thing. I wonder long term, which let's just be honest, nobody that's showing this has had this long enough term to be like, I've used this for, you know, until they've used every little last bit, unless if you just dump the whole thing out and waste it and see how it gets the last bit out. So I really hope that the pump can really get to the last bit of it. I'm sure you could like rig it up somehow and like, you know, take it apart, but I'm curious to see that because I really do like foundations like, you know, like mine, like that I have here, which is almost out, which I'm so glad because now I'm using this. It's like that plasticky, you know, you can squirt out every last bit. And so I like that, but I do like a glass container. I do think that's obviously nicer. Sometimes I do forget to flip this little thing back, which, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't really see as that matters. But as I showed you, you know, you do want to hold it at a 45-degree angle to keep as much product from dripping back into it as possible, because maybe you can see just some of it does get back in there. And you are going to have to clean this every now and then. I use those Peter Thomas Roth face pads every single night. I keep this right here where I do my makeup, and so occasionally what I've been doing is I just wipe it. Now you don't have to do that every single day. You know, with beauty blenders, when you use your foundation with a beauty blender, any foundation, whether it's this one or anything, you just can put on your hand and you know, and then you wash your hand anyways, or you just get all of it off and I never even feel like it's on there. You just wipe it off. So you can say, okay, well now you don't have to get your hand dirty, but you're getting this dirty. So either way, you're gonna have to be cleaning something. So that's something to consider, but I like it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just something that you are gonna have to kind of, you know, wipe off, and you couldn't just throw this right back in your makeup bag. You would have to make sure that it's a little clean. And like I said, I don't love how it goes back in there, but I do think it's a very attractive. I don't think I'd be like, oh, I hate that packaging or anything, but I would be just as in love with it if it came in just a little simple bottle. It is so different from anything that I've tried, like finish, wear, just everything wise. It's gorgeous. I didn't top it with any kind of, you know, powder or anything. It's just beautiful. Obviously, the pros, it wears like a dream. Every single day that I've worn it, my skin has felt good. It's felt comfortable. It never feels dry. You don't look at your skin in the middle of the day and feel like, ooh, looks, you know, cakey or dried up. And I feel like when I really try something new, I pay so close attention to that. So I've really been checking it out. I've really been making sure, you know, the days that I've worn it, I really do like it. So as I wear it more and more, this isn't something that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna just go back. I don't even think I'm gonna repurchase this right now. I think I'm just gonna keep using this because I do love it so much. The finish is beautiful. It's just gorgeous. And I feel like I didn't have to pile on so many other products with it to make it look good. I don't have to put a powder on top of it. Because I've said so many times, we focus so much, and I feel like in this whole like world of everything, you've got a million people on, you know, YouTube breaking down every little thing. We're so picky about ingredients, finish, this and that, but then everybody's like, well, you gotta pile powder on top of that. And I'm like, do you? No, you don't. And it's like, I don't care if you have the oiliest skin, powder's not gonna stop you from getting oily, right? It's just gonna mix everything up, and it's really unlike anything that I've ever used, and y'all know I have used most everything. So, like I said, not too many cons. One more con I would say, maybe the price. I mean, it's $40, so it's an ounce, it's $40 compared to like, I think this is like 23 or something. I mean, I know, like this is Clinique foundation. It's not crazy expensive like a lot of the high-end ones, so maybe I'm just used to this. But then $23, I mean, that's still expensive considering, you know, if you're used to buying drugstore, and this is the same size. Just to kind of give you an idea, these are both 1 ounce containers. So, but I will gladly pay this. But you guys, I don't know, I feel like I love it. I don't know what else to say about it. Check it out, you guys. The Bounce Foundation by Beautyblender. I feel like we've kind of covered it all. So thank you guys for watching. I love y'all so much. I hope that you'll check this out, and hope that you got a really good idea and a really good thorough review. I know I mentioned to a lot of you guys on Instagram that we were gonna talk Southern Charm in my next video, which would have been this one, but I promise that's coming. We're gonna do like a little informal get ready with me, gossiping about like all the fun stuff that we're into soon. So I promise that will come up very soon. So thank you guys so much. Definitely check this out. I will link to it. If it's out of stock, just bear with them. I think that it's just kind of that first run, and I do feel like what they do a lot of times is they create an excitement. So just give it some time, keep checking back, and hopefully you can get your hands on some of this yourself. So thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye guys.